How's it going? Let me know in the chat how you guys are doing. Holiday says, hola. Hey, sorry for being late, guys. It's pretty frustrating. I have the computer I use to stream typically, and it just won't turn on. So I spent like the past hour trying to get it on so I could do everything for you, nice and high quality. However, it didn't work. So now I'm on my laptop in the middle of the house. Yeah. That's how it is. It's this monitor, man. This is the third time I've bought this monitor in the past month, and each one's broken. And I've officially given up. So anybody in here who has ever considered buying a Samsung G7, the monitor, do not do it. It is the most awful piece of electronics that I've ever dealt with in my entire life. I would not recommend it to anyone, not even my worst enemy. So there we go. That's like our tech tidbit for the day. Samsung G7, awful, terrible, worst thing ever made. Hey, Matt.
Hey, buddy. Sounds like you're having a tough day. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I had my computer muted, but I can hear you.
There you go. How's everybody doing?
Dude, I'll tell you right now, everybody's angry,
angry
because the G7 is terrible.
That does sound awful.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Samsung monitor, but I don't know. I mean, that sounds awful. Yeah.
Bro, third one. I bought 3 of them in the past month. I've had to return every one. Now I got to return another one. None of them work.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Happy New Year to you guys as well. I'm seeing a lot of that in there. We are recording this, by the way, a couple of those in there. But yeah, I'm excited to get started. I know we've been building this up for a little bit. And guys, guess what? It's working. I just was reviewing some ads today. I'm a little out of sync for my day, but I've had some. When you have a new house, it kind of throws your day off sometimes. And today was one of those days. So this is doing well, and I'm excited to share it with you. Oh, Devin's going to just let me shut up. He's going to shut up about the monitor.
You just kind of.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I'll
You're
run
like, enough of this guy. Nobody wants to hear him
complain. This BS, dude. Yeah. I will share my screen here. And there we go. And give me a one real quick. Let me know that you're here. I just want to see. I haven't been on Demio in a minute. There we go. So we're very quick reaction there. So that's great. Sometimes you get on here and there's a bit of a lag, but it's good to talk to you guys. Even though I will be the one talking, and I want to share this with you. So, guys, if you have been with us, sorry, I'm still getting over. I was sick for like 9-10 days. So if I have to stop for a second, that's what I'm doing, is clear my throat. So if you guys have been with us for a little bit of time, you know that I'm a big advocate of this tool right here. And this tool is called the Audience Insight tool. It's a free tool that Facebook allows you to see kind of the back end, so to speak, of Facebook. It really is, though. It is a big collective interface, kind of giving you the data and download of everything on Facebook. When people joke and say that Facebook knows everything about you guys, it really does. I mean, it really does. Facebook really does know everything about you. So what I want to show you today is how we're kind of moving past this, right? Because if I look in here, and I've taught this a million different times, right, of how we use this, right? If I was going to do golf, right? Guys, if the screen is blurry, please refresh it. There's nothing really I can do about a Demio screen, but I can assure you my screen is not blurry on this side of things. So if please try to refresh it, and then we'll see if that works. So if I put in golf in here, guys, I will try to zoom in here for you. If I try to put in golf here, what it shows you is a split that has 42% women and 58% men. And it gives you the age demographics, right? And which kind of makes sense that even today, with golf being a growing sport, but primarily the golfer would be on the top end of things. That even today, golf is primarily in the 25 to 34 range and the 35 to 44 range. But that's like anything, right? Because Facebook came out when when I was in college. I'm 34 years old, about to be 35 shortly. And it came out when we were in college, and the adoption rate was the people above us and below us. You could only be on Facebook at, hold on one second, guys. Hey, Devin, can we do something about what's our suggestion for people with the blurry screen? Because I'm seeing a bunch of that. I want to make sure people are seeing it.
I don't. I think it's just Demio. There's nothing we can do about it. We can re-record another quick session of it later.
Yeah. Keep refreshing, see if that works for you guys. But ultimately, there's nothing really I can do about it. So I appreciate it. I get it that it's blurry. You don't have to keep. It really doesn't help to continue to tell me it's blurry. So like, no offense, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and hide that screen so I don't have it. I'm gonna jam out here for you. So guys, anyway, getting back to it, as you know, Facebook, and I just said, Facebook is primarily in this age demographic, but it does still give us an understanding of what this demographic is. And we had this whole step-by-step system that I would lead you guys down and showing you that, hey, 10% or under 10% is not enough to really be considered. So if I was going to be running ads to this golf niche, I would do 25 and above, right? And then sometimes you got to take a step forward. You got to know your niche a little bit more than what, that this will tell you. If you look up the sport of golf and you're trying to sell to players of golf, not just fans of golf, you know that the player of golf is primarily male, right? So you would target like this. But ultimately, guys, what we learned was that a lot of the interests that populated over here would come up through what's called likes by association, right? Now, all that refinement using the word golf, and I come over here and I still get Dos Equis, Miller Lite, this Armor Company, Coors Light, College Game Day. These are very big interests that have nothing basically to do with golf. That was the problem, right? And why is that? Well, you're talking about 15 to 20 million people. And if you take any segment of 15 to 20 million people and you just grab it, right, they're going to have a lot more than just one like interest, right? I mean, some of these things that are in here, like the NFL or Heineken, or there's a good one for you, PGA Tour, Dos Equis. These are major brands that, tons of people drink Dos Equis, Miller Lite, Coors Light, and watch the NFL, watch College Game Day. They have all these things in common. So this doesn't really do anything for us. And then we had to go down a route of, finding the interest. And I taught you how to do that. But what I noticed, guys, is that Facebook was getting better, and Facebook was improving their, when it comes down to it, it's in their artificial intelligence, right? They were basically really, really stepping up their game and understanding you and providing that information back to us. And what we noticed was this tool that used to be actually valuable back when there was barely anybody on Facebook was becoming, it stopped being valuable, and then it was becoming valuable again. It was becoming something that we could trust. It was built into the ad set manager. It was very useful. It was very helpful. When we were starting, there wasn't that many people advertising, right? When I was one of the first people to advertise on Facebook collectively as a group. Devin was as well, because we were here. I had a course on the Audience Insights tool when it came out, right? That was numerous years ago, 8 years ago, probably. I had a course on early advertisement. I was taking courses from people like Don Wilson when the Facebook news feed became available. Think of that. The Facebook news feed wasn't available for you to advertise in at first. You had to only advertise in the right-hand side. Then they freed it up for the news feed, and then people got apps for their phone, which that wasn't even a thing when we started. And this whole evolution brought in more people. And then adoption that I was talking about when I was over here, then it wasn't just these guys anymore. It went down to 18 to 24 and went up to now your mom and your dad are on Facebook and your grandparents are on Facebook. So as we, had that wide adoption, also we had a wide amount of new data in there. And us as advertisers had to adjust. And this tool that I'm going to show you in a second that was helpful before no longer became helpful, right? Because just because of, I think that just too much, there was too much data. So Facebook brought in the audience insights tool. It helped. It certainly still helps today. I do not say that it's not like an easy, a thing that you should pay attention to. I come in here when we're entering new niches all the time. I can plug in my page here and see the breakdown of my audience on Facebook. Super helpful stuff. But what I needed was an easier way, right? I needed a way to cut to the chase. Not only to cut to the chase, but what we started noticing was that we could find what we called the long tail keywords. See, guys, I come from the Google world where we used to do that. We used to rank our pages, and we used to do SEO work, if you've ever heard that term before. And you would rank for longer tail keywords, exact phrases of things. You still do that on Google, where you would hope if you can find one of those interests, right? And we'll show you what that means if you're not sure what that means. But it's very precise sets of phrases or, a couple of words that when done together minimizes what we're calling, what I've always called, and I've actually, I think, coined the word, but likes by the phrase, likes by association, right? The reason, guys, that golf is such a broad interest is because inside of here, you're going to have people that simply like Tiger Woods's photo. He's one of the most monumental figures in athletes ever, right? You could like him doing some kind of comeback and enjoy that story and like that. You could like your buddy's awesome photo where he was, golfing at a private club down in Florida, right? You could like that. And eventually you like enough of that stuff. Guess what? You're in the golf interest. You're in this. But us as advertisers, that doesn't do what we want, right? That doesn't give us the information that we want. We don't want that person. The guy that's never picked up a club in his life. I mean, I always ask this when I use the golf niche. How many people in here know who Tiger Woods is, enjoy his story? You could probably tell me back verbatim his story, but you never picked up a club in your life. Give me a 2 in the chat box real quick if that's you. Look at that. Look at all these people know Tiger Woods. Hey, I'm the worst basketball player that has ever lived, but I loved everything. I love everything about Michael Jordan. I love that documentary that came out, right? So and I use political, figures like that because it's the easiest thing to do. But these likes by association come in all the time, right? I've had that on my own personal level, where, I used to sell a lot of stuff in the nurse niche. I still sell some stuff there, but not nearly as a focal point. And I was liking pages, following pages, engaging with pages, doing ads in the niche, but following ads, finding products, commenting on them, to tag my business partner at the time. Guess what? And again, if you guys are loyal, followers of ours, this story that once I took off and I quit my day job and I took that off my, basically listed as unemployed, almost in an instant, I was getting job applications from hospitals, seeing if I wanted to apply as a nurse there. Why? Because the algorithm thought I was a nurse because I was engaging with the content. Guys, this is important for you to realize and understand. as an advertiser. You have to understand how the platform works that you are advertising on. You have to understand why, if you just use the word golf, you're targeting all of this. And that might be why you don't think that the ad is working, because there's people in here that don't belong in your idea. Facebook is great. They think it's awesome. They have to do this because that's how they reach people who are fitting in the niche that don't list it in some fashion, right? The reason that Facebook attempted to serve, or I shouldn't say attempted, but they served me that ad. I had nothing in my profile or pages that I liked. I might have had a few pages because I was, following some people, but I had nothing in my profile that said anything about nursing. No school, no degree, no prior work history. The second I took my job off of there, they thought job application for nurse, because the algorithm was tricked into thinking I was a nurse. But when in reality, guys, that's how they grow their reach. That's what Facebook needs to do to give you a good experience. I'm going down a path here because I really want you to bring this home and understand the platform. Right. I was talking with Devin earlier today. We were, recording some content that you'll probably get out in a little bit. And the most important thing that you guys can do is not only understand your customer, have, and their needs and their wants, but have a product that you can deliver to them in the most effective way and that they need and they want, and it fills that want and that need. But you have to understand the platform that you're in and how your customer engages with that, and how that platform in general tries to engage with your customer, right? So not to say that down the road you couldn't, if you had this amazing golf product, that you couldn't do targeting just against the word golf. I have a store now that I've been building up. We don't target anything, right? We don't target anything. Just 18, it's 18, 20, 18 and above, sorry. Both genders, wide open, no interest. Why? Because I did almost $1 million in sales in, in the holiday season on that store. That pixel is on fire. Facebook knows exactly who I want to deliver my ad to, right? But you can get there. You'll get there eventually. Right now, I have to figure out what's the easiest and most effective way for people to enter into a new niche. And that's what I want to show you guys here. So this is enough about the audience insights tool. Let's step over into our ads manager. And what I want to do here is if yours, again, I always give this a little asterisk here. If you don't have the exact same business manager as me or ads manager with me, stay with me on the details and don't worry about the user interface here, because I hear there's something like 4 or 5 of these interfaces going on at one time now. So what it looks like is not important. What I say and what I'm doing is the most important part. Right. So on this, we're going to be doing everything really stays the same that you've seen before. So conversions, right? And we want to do that. We would name our campaign something that we want to name it. Of course, you're going to be going for purchase for purchase. And then I always recommend, $20, $25 a day if you can. If you got to go lower, just know that time and money are what is important for an ad to work, right? So $5 ads are great, but you got to let them run. What I need to show you, though, is this. I want to show you a little part of the detailed targeting, right? So you can add demographics, interests, behaviors, right? And you kind of just got a sneak peek in there because I was playing around with this right before the call. But we want to turn this detailed targeting expansion off for the moment. You can test that later on, maybe as you have a product that's profitable for you. Right now, we're going to turn this off. What I want to do is target golf. Show you something really cool. If it lets me. Oh, there we go. All right, so golf. Again, 45 million people. Okay, there's probably 45 million people who have picked up a golf club in the United States, I would say that's probably fair. But understanding who I am targeting, we know we have to go deeper, right? Say I'm selling a $500 club, right? Or maybe let's not even do $500. That's just crazy. Let's do $100 iron, or some kind of golf drop shipping product that helps you improve your swing. Or is it just a shirt that is a funny golf phrase on it, and I want to target people who would get it, which would be the people who are actually playing, right? I got to cut through that 45 million people, and I got to get down to a level that I feel comfortable with, which is probably going to be in that couple million, right? That I always tell you guys to go with. You can always target more later on, but your product needs to match the audience. I mean, let's go back to the $500 club. There's not 45 million golfers that are going to spend $500 probably on a driver or something like that in the United States. I would love to see, Callaway's numbers. How many, because my clubs were expensive. I love playing golf, and I want to get better at it though. So I spend a lot of money on some golf clubs. But I guarantee you, people like me, that I was like 2-3 years ago, they're not just buying, for the most part, they're not just buying $1,500, $2,000 set of clubs. So we need to cut through, right? And this is the same thing in your niche, guys. Say you're selling crazy cat lady shirts or crazy dog lady shirts. I saw one of those the other day. So the one thing about dogs is if I post my picture of my dog online, my dog's a Labradoodle. Here's how crazy it gets, guys. If I post a Labradoodle photo, I forget what Brutus's breed is, but if Devin does the same thing, Facebook knows generally what, they have picture reading technology. They acquired a company not too long ago. It's facial recognition and some other, if you ever see like when it doesn't load correctly on Facebook, they'll say like what's in the image that you uploaded. It'll be like house, car, dog. And I've seen it before where it said Rottweiler, and there was a Rottweiler in the photo. So I have a general idea of what is in that image, right? So my dog's pretty cute. I like to think he is. A bunch of my friends who do not own Labradoodles, that just aren't as manly as me, they will, if they do it enough and I'm vocal enough about it, guess what? They're in that audience. Babies, dogs, thinking about the most social things on Facebook. You're liking it all the time. You're probably liking, post of somebody's who's very vocal about their business, or, you're just being nice. You get lumped into those audiences. That's why you occasionally see ads that you're like, why am I getting this delivered? I got that, delivered to me. It's because you're engaging and they're making assumptions. Instagram's actually worse at it. For whatever reason, Instagram will show me stuff all the time. I'm like, why am I being shown this? It's probably because I'm, reviewing countless students' ads or seeing that kind of different stuff. And I'm getting all these crazy products and ad stuff in my, hasn't been as bad lately, but it was pretty bad there for a while. So guys, what do we do? And the tool, after all my rambling there, is the suggestion tool right here. Nothing crazy, but let's do it. So long tail keywords, right? What does that mean? Longer words, multiple words, phrases, things that get us deeper into the niche. Because, guys, the longer the word is, the same thing with Google, the more refined it is, right? How much more specific is golf course or golf equipment than golf? Remember, Facebook knows what's in the image. They might even know what's in golf. That's why some of these words are weird, right? Sometimes you look in here and you're like, why is golf equipment? right? It might be because of Callaway. It might be because of the brands that make clubs. Or it might be the fact that when you upload a photo of a golf club, they know that there's a golf club in it. Do you ever think about that? That's the crazy power of Facebook. So what I can do is hit golf equipment here. Because look, well, I moved a little too fast. So let's go back here. What I want to do is show you that sometimes when you plug in the broadest of the word, that's how you jumpstart this whole, long tail keyword. Sometimes there's not a whole lot in here for whatever reason. And it gets pretty off base. I've seen this a couple of times. We get some long ones in here, but then all of a sudden Mercedes-Benz in here. And why is that? For the same reason I showed you on the other page, right? I plugged in golf on the Audience Insights tool and Heineken showed up. How did it make that correlation? They're very big overlapping things. 45 million people have lots of different things in common. I bet a golfer would also be a bowler, right? Golfers tend to have some money because it's an expensive sport. Well, here's Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW, resorts, investment, small business owners, automobiles. It's not hard to see the correlation, right? We just have to understand what we're seeing. So we go back up here and type in golf equipment because now I've gone a longer tail keyword, right? So what I need to do now is eliminate golf. Sorry, I can hear my baby crying in the other room. I just want to make sure my wife was on it. So golf equipment's on here now. I've gone a step further into the niche. What happens if I press suggestion now? Ah, look at that. Because I took it down from 45 million down to 3.8 million, right? 3.8 million, those people are going to have a lot less in common than 45 million. Not only that, it's much more specific. Golf could be anything. Golf could be Tiger Woods. Golf could be the beautiful photo that somebody posted on his private club that he played in. Somebody just in a golf outfit and you like the photo. It could be broader, right? It could just be people who like golf or watch golf. But I just asked a bunch of people who plays golf or who's never played golf and knows who Tiger Woods is. You like Tiger Woods' stuff, you're in the golf interest, right? Now, golf equipment, very much more specific. Now I have a whole bunch of different types of longer tail keywords. The Open Championship, Callaway Golf Company, Bridgestone Golf, PGA European Tour. That's a very specific interest, guys. That's far more specific. Not only is it longer tail keyword, right? But it's like the chances of somebody who's just sitting on the sidelines and liking and following and getting lumped in the same methodology that I told you, the same way I tricked the algorithm to thinking I was a nurse, you would have to have done that with the PGA European Tour in order to be lumped into that group. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a 1 in the chat box real quick. Perfect. So you have to, I'm trying to reiterate it, making sure that it's coming across that we're picking things that have multiple words, but are also much more specific in the same sense because we understand how these interests are built much more than ever. We used to just talk about how they get, we just find them, right? Now we're talking and we have to think like, people who are not, it's like one step further in advertising, really understanding the intent behind being lumped into that interest. Why are you going to be lumped into the men's major golf championship? How do you even get in there? We know how we get into the golf interest. I already explained that to you. But how would we get into here? You probably are pretty passionate about it. And guys, the objective is still the same in terms of audience size. You would find these interests sometimes. I've done this several times. Sometimes the suggestion shows me interests that are not in Audience Insights tool, right? That's pretty cool because that gives me a new area of entry, right? A point of entry into the market. But the interest in the potential reach is still the same. Whoops. Potential reach is still the same. I still want to do at bare freaking minimum 1 million. Please do not go below 1 million anymore. Just the game has changed, right? We're charging cost per thousand these days. We don't want to restrict. Well, we always were, but we're worried about that, right? But there's millions of people on Facebook. Back in the day, I was like, oh yeah, do 200,000. Well, guess what? There wasn't 2 billion people on Facebook back then. There wasn't multi-millions of advertisers. Facebook knows, they're reaching out. That's the whole point of this, right? They're reaching out. They know who's in these audiences, right? They know that this could be a very solid set of actual golfers in 3.8. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's 20%. It's not, right? That's way better. The 3.8 is way better than what the golf would be. The golf's probably 30% or 40% just lumped in there. My wife's probably in the golf interest because I'm over here liking golf brands. That's another area I didn't talk to you guys about. That's how Facebook sells gifts. If you didn't know, gifts like for Christmas, they start showing ads around the holidays. For my wife will start getting things that I like. She bought me this thing from that's a American flag that you press a button and it opens up into a bar. I couldn't be a happier human being with that Christmas gift. That's everything that I want, right? It's cool. It's really cool. Well, guess what? She got the ad. How'd they do that? Well, I follow the brand on Facebook. She got an ad because it's holiday season and Matt follows something. Hey, you might like this. And boom, there you go. That stuff happens all the time. I see it all the time. I'm constantly getting ads for what Amanda likes. So understanding this mentality helps us pick better interests. We're smarter advertisers, guys. Now that we know and we understand how Facebook is doing this, how do they interact? How do they build these things? So I want to do this in another niche, just so super broad. I don't know why this takes so much time. I do actually know because I'm live streaming it. So dogs, 88 million. 88 million. It's way too many people to target when I have no data. I have no pixel and I have no, Facebook builds information. That's the other side of this thing is I always want you to start laser focused and then eventually become a fire hose because guys, that Facebook is building information on who you were targeting, who responds the best to what Matt is doing on Facebook in terms of advertising. They'll start doing that. That's why I can just open broad target is because Facebook is like, okay, I know who's going to buy from this guy because he's got all these events, purchase events. But if the scale is heavily weighted on one side for me, and I don't have to put anything over here on the detailed targeting side. You guys probably, which is perfectly fine. We're all being there. You guys could have put more information down in the detailed targeting side and not so much over here on the other side. So we're going for 1 million at bare minimum. And I would stick between 1 million and 5 million at first. That'll get you a good set. How many of these do you put into an ad set? Well, don't go above 5 million. There's probably in these giant niches, there's well more. There's 88 million people here, right? So that's how many sets of 5 million people you could get, right? Potentially, it kind of works like that, but potentially. But we want to stick with the best, and then it's just kind of up to you how you go from here. So let's do dogs real quick. So suggestions. Let's see. All right. Well, dog food, right? How are you going to get into the interest dog food? Let's think about that. You're not liking the dog food picture. If I run downstairs and go take a picture of my dog food and put it on Facebook, I'm not going to get a bunch of likes. I am going to get lumped into here if I follow brands on Facebook. that have dog food brands. If I talk about it in groups, if it happens to be in the photo that I do upload. So there's some chance that there's some people in here, but that's perfectly fine. But that's a pretty good starting place, right? Longtail doesn't necessarily mean like 5 words. It just means longer than your core interest, right? Preferably 2 words or more. So look at this. We got dog health. Huge. That's a great one, right? That's even more specific than dog food. Dog collar, dog grooming, dog walking, dog behavior. Think about the interests and the intent behind the interest. So if I was going to have you write anything down, when you were thinking about the interest, think about the intent behind the interest. How would somebody get lumped into these groups? Guys, what works on Google is understanding intent. Everything on Google is an intent-based platform, right? Searches. I went to Google with a search. I don't just go on Google and then mess around, right? You type in Google because you were looking for something. And the longer tail keywords are general indications that you were looking for something incredibly specific, right? So we're doing that same mentality, but over on Facebook as best as we can, because we're not going to get like 9 words or something like that. But dog behavior is a very specific word or phrase, longer tail keyword. That's going to be like dog training, talking about that, following the, maybe like the trainers and stuff like that are on, popular shows and things like that only people with dogs would watch. And it's just about matching your product to these people. That's an incredibly powerful thing that I just found in 10 seconds. I didn't run through that one like I did the golf one. But I understood, I hit the suggestion twice, and then I was able to find 3.5 million people. That's probably a darn good starting point for me if I have a good general broad dog product, right? Because I understand why this interest would exist. Can't say that enough. But that's it. Then what I would do is duplicate this ad set, and I would have, 3 or 4 of these that I could test on a product. That's me personally, right? Because these don't correlate with home runs, guys. It's not like I just showed you an instant way to pull a slot machine lever. You still got to understand, in this instance, you would have to understand what the dog owner needs. And then you give them a good product. And that makes your chances incredibly successful if you've done all those things. All right, incredibly high. Chances for success incredibly high is what I meant to say. But I can't guarantee you anything. But what I can guarantee is if you do this enough, you will find success. If you keep trying and finding these keywords that you understand and intent behind, that's going to give you such a better leg up than anything I've seen lately. This is this type of ad and understanding and even craft. So like, I know who's in here. Craft your message at the ad level based on interest if you can. Can you tie in dog behavior to an audience of dog behavior people? Possibly. It all depends on the product. Like, don't let your dog eat this shirt. That would be a funny thing. And I just pulled that out of thin air too. That would be a funny thing that would be tied in here, knowing that the people that are lumped in here are concerned about dog behavior. Every little bit helps. So that's all I have for you guys. That's what it is. I mean, I'm happy to try this in a couple of different niches if you want. I know we have some time for some Q&As, but understanding that this suggestion box is working out extremely well lately. And it helps not only, if you can see here, it helps not only think, okay, I'm thinking about dogs. I'm thinking about dogs. I'm thinking about dogs. Can I stray outside of this a little bit? Right? Pet adoption. That's going to get you a little too broad, right? Something you got to think it through. Pet adoption. Too broad. Can have cats, birds, all this other different stuff in pet adoption. Puppy love, shelter dogs, obedience training. That might not have been a word that popped up in the Audience Insights tool. And the good news is, guys, that I've been teaching the Audience Insights tool for so long, I've been ripped off more times than I can bear to, count. So everybody's teaching that. So now I'm teaching you something that not everybody's doing. And you're getting to see that some of this, I think for the second time we've trained this. So you're seeing something that might give you a little leg up if you put it to work, because these are interests overlap with each other. Yes. But groupings are great, and they're different points of entry into the market and the available news feed. And if you tie all these things together that I've been talking about, I'm confident, and you keep trying, you keep working, I'm confident you guys will see success. So give me a yes or awesome or whatever in the chat box. Let me know if you like this training and if you're going to implement this right away. Was that a hua? I got you, Daniel. So David brings up a good point. So the long-tail interest dog behavior may not be 100% related to the dog product we sell, but we simply use it to get a smaller segment of the dog niche and tailor our ad copy towards the product. So you could definitely tailor your ad copy. The ad copy thing is not necessarily mandatory. We do that at our level because ad copy does spar new sales and new interest, and people haven't seen it before. What I was saying though, you're 100% right. It's not going to be like you're selling. You don't have to sell a behavior product to this, I guess is what I want to make sure. That's not sure. You would be understanding that somebody who is in the dog behavior interest in this instance would be, how do they get there? They're more than likely a dog owner, right? It's not breed specific, right? So it would have to be a general product for sure. If you sold Labradoodle shirts like I used to this interest, you're not going to get very good success, right? Because there's no guarantee whatsoever that there's even one Labradoodle owner in this, even though they are probably in this because they need behavior training pretty bad. But my point is that this would be a very broad audience, yes, of dog owners, right? And so it wouldn't be a success as in, I can guarantee you that this is a very good interest. But the product, I was, again, talking to Devin earlier today. I used to say my one of the many phrases of teaching, you always develop these phrases in your teaching because you do the same thing over and over again. But I used to say, ads are 50% of the coin, right? And then on the other side is your store and your product and stuff like that. It's more like ads are 25% of the coin. And the rest is your product, your avatar, your messaging, your follow-ups, and all the different stuff that we teach you guys, right? So yes, this is going to give you a great interest, but everything else has to be in place for you to really have success. Hope that makes sense. Should we also do stuff like the us and the same post? I don't know what that means, Sarah. Sorry. Seeing a lot of people implementing. People had some success. Do you stack a few long tail keywords? Yeah, you can. My main concern, guys, is getting in. If I'm using more than one, I'm just trying to get into that, 1 to 5 million range. I'm very comfortable because I know I can deliver a good product. And I'm comfortable in getting into the 4 to 5 million range on average when testing. So, that gives you a broader audience. So you have to have a product that's, a little bit broader. But that is where I'm comfortable because I want Facebook to deliver me not only a buyer, but a very cheap buyer. Because, as the tighter you get, guys, the more expensive it is to grab those, those best buyers in Facebook's mind. They know who's probably going to buy from you. But the thing, your automatic bid placement, guys, the thing is that goes up, right? The automatic bid placement, and that means that you're automatically adjusting your bid. Imagine if you were sitting in a room and you were having an auctioneer, and you hold your little sign up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do $100 on it." Well, now it's just automatic. So as everybody else is saying 100, 200, 300, 400, you're just automatically going above that, right? Which is fine if you have a great product. But that's why sometimes ads are all over the place, right? So if you have a bigger audience set of 4 or 5 million, that gives you more people while you're still focused that are possibly cheaper than you would other have. Your inventory is just smaller. The smaller the number, the smaller the inventory, right? Just inherently like that. Are you duplicating ad sets to test different long? Yeah, that's just the easiest way. When I say duplicate it, that's just the easiest way to create additional ad sets. But I would have chunks of 1 to 5 million not having the same interest. How does this compare to the MCBW framework? What you'll realize, Holiday, that's a great question. What you'll realize is much of the MCBW framework will be within the suggestion, right? But what I'm doing is you can refine that a little bit. It complements it, by no means overlaps it or replaces it. But sometimes you will see things that are in here. I think, didn't I just see it? Petco is in here. I saw it somewhere. Oh, PetSmart. PetSmart fits the MCBW framework, right? So, and there's probably more in here too. Royal Canin? I don't know what that is. But anyway, businesses will be up here. Magazines will show up. I think the golf one had Golf Magazine, right? So that it fits the same framework. You could 100% overlap them and just refine your search if you wanted to only picking the longer tail keywords that pop up in the suggestion box within the MCBW framework. I think we could even put some kind of acronym on the back of that for these, and Devin and I can work on that. Devin's the marketing guy though, so maybe he'll work on that. That fits something like this, right? Maybe it's just an S, like a suggestion. The dog behavior, that's the thing, guys. The dog behavior thing isn't going to show up in Audience Insights. So we have to, maybe add a little acronym on the back of that. MCBWs, put an S on the back. Is there a way to be more specific with dog breeds? Yeah. You just type in the breed. And so let's do golden retriever, right? Because that's a huge one. Come on, Facebook. There we go. Golden retriever. That in itself is a longer tail keyword, but obviously if you post on that, and it's only 5 million people, which is interesting, but you might be able to find some other. Maybe not. I've seen this before. I forget what breed it was though, but you can look in here, and you know what, guys? Like I said in the beginning of the call, it's not like a replacement to the Audience Insights tool, right? If it doesn't show up in the suggestion here and you can't find anything, go pop over the Audience Insights tool, put in golden retriever, and see if some kind of longer tail keyword pops up over there. Some association, some business, some celebrity probably won't be easy, but a website, like a golden retriever website. Yeah, Sarah. So I do share a post. I still do recommend that. That's a great question. Sharing posts between ad sets, because, guys, it's a social platform. That doesn't mean that's the only way to do it, right? If I was talking about, refining my ad copy for that specific interest, that's perfectly fine too. However, I do typically do the share post. So that answers that for you. Matt, do you not use Audience Insights anymore? I do. Like I said, I've used these in conjunction with each other, because, guys, I run at a very, if you, I keep referring back to, if you stick with me, The Matt of 2019 versus the Matt of 2020 spends astronaut, and now 2021 is, I spend way more last year than I ever have, ever. Not even close. I think I probably spent more in 2020 on advertising than I did in every year prior to that, by a multiple, right? You don't get to $20 million in revenue in a year without spending quite a bit of money. I would dare to say, I haven't had the wrap up with my accountant yet, but I would dare to say that was several $1,000,000 of advertising, comfortably saying that. So to do that and to have that sort of level, guys, I'm doing everything that I teach you guys here. When somebody was asking me, do I use Audience Insights tool? I do that. If I do this, I do that. I do the old MCBW framework, I do that. There's multiple ways for us to do this. What I'm doing here is showing you a quick and easy way to get really, really good keywords for you to test out, right? But my ad spend and your ad spend are very different, right? So you can start refined, keep your process. If it works for you, expand upon it down the road, right? Are you building an email list for your store? Absolutely. How often do you email your list? 3 times a week at a minimum. More if there's a holiday. Yeah. Yeah, Mark, I do. It sticks with what I'm saying here, right? It's just multiple strategies that you guys are teaching, or that I'm teaching you, or you guys are learning. Same concepts, right? That's why, and ultimately you're doing that. He's asking about, throwing more sticks into the river. You're ultimately doing that. Because here's the real thing, guys. If you use golf equipment, golf course, golf magazine, there's a lot of overlap in there. It's all the same river, so to speak, right? Golf, just different entry points. And there's some overlap there. So essentially what I'm doing is giving you different chunks, right? Different little focal points. And then you enter your ad into there. Turbo time. Oh my gosh. Hold on one second. Oh, is that it? Overall profit in 2020, or in that 20 million. It depends on which one you're talking about, right? Because I have a very big staff. I had 20 people in the store that I sold. And then of course, Uncle Sam got his chunk and everything like that. So if you're talking about EBITDA, was a couple million. I'm not going to be too specific on it. But yeah, I did just fine. We average, but like, I'll tell you this, before we start paying everybody and I have project managers and all the team and everything like that, we get into that pretty much industry standard on retail. Sorry. So e-com and retail is about the same, or at least retail e-com and market recom. And so retail e-com, retail e-com and retail brick and mortar kind of at scale keep the same profit margins, right? So we don't have to worry about Madden. Yeah. So they keep about it's about the 25%. And that's before you start paying all the different things. So yeah. Took me a minute to take that, to say that, but yeah, retail e-com and brick and mortar e-com end up having about the same overheads, right? Why is that? Well, they don't have to worry and pay about ads, right? They have way more overhead, but it ends up being in the studies that the overhead switch is the advertisement for overhead. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't hurt. That's for sure. What are we emailing about? The easiest thing, guys, is promos, new products every week. Be creative. Just email them. Just be creative. Like what does your niche want? What do they want to read? Can you rehash some content for them, right? So any kind of the questions, guys? Should you always email them with some coupons inside? I mean, no, I wouldn't. But here's the key thing to realize is you do want to test different. Here's a strategy for you guys. It's a huge learning lesson for us in 2020 is you test all these different promos, right? One email I'm doing 25% off. One email I'm doing BOGO. One email I'm doing 10% off. One email I'm doing new products. And then what you can do is do that for Q1, Q2, Q3. But then when Q4 comes around, you take all that chunk of data that you got and see which one performed the best. And guess what becomes your Black Friday promo and your holiday promo? That, right? So that's the easiest way. Mostly apparel. Somebody asked what that 20 was made from. It was mostly apparel and some other, home decor type items, I guess. I have 40 or 50,000 products on the site. Again, that doesn't mean that you have to have 40 to 50,000 products, and that's variance included. It does not mean that you have to do what I did to get there, guys. And I don't mean to have that. By no means is a discouragement, right? I don't want you to get discouraged about it because I started, guys. I was sharing the story with our content writer earlier today. My store that I sold started over a beer. Funny, Matt drinking beer. No way. But Matt having a beer with his buddy, and he came in town and he said, "Hey, I might be selling some of these things and being a supplier for this apparel. Would you be interested in selling it?" And I said, "Yeah, I could try it." And then it went from there. And then 5 years later, yeah, I knew beer would come into this. Yeah, I talk about beer a lot, guys. But 5 years later, I sold a store that did almost, that store did specifically about $17 million in sales. So, yeah, it's crazy how that can happen, right? So you need to realize that I'm not trying, when I share that number, I don't mean that can be kind of a daunting thing. Because I remember when I was hearing like Ezra and these guys doing crazy numbers, and I was like, man, I can never do that. I just want to pay my mortgage. You can do that. You got to take these small steps. That's why we show you these ways of getting going, because we want you guys to get down that road. Because I know if you do it, you will snowball in the right direction. Right? Somebody says, Eric says, sorry, I didn't see you there. When you explained to us a while back about the beer selection, or the beer section is displayed, I started really watching shelves in all stores now. Yeah, everything is math. Grocery stores specifically are all math. Walmart is a crazy. Everything in Walmart is mathematically calculated. Even the spaces between things. It's wild. When we did some work for Walmart back in the day when I worked in my corporate job, and they're everything is just crazy. It's not accidental. They became who they are. So yeah, so somebody, Adam asked a good question. The MTBW for the dog niche, what's the C in the niche? It would be celebrities. And when we teach that, the big thing to understand is that not every niche has every single one of the letters, right? Specifically the C. You could argue like a dog trainer or something like that, but those get a little rough and few and far between. So don't make or break on the fact that you can't find a C. The M, the B, and the W will 100% be for almost every niche that has any kind of value to it. Are there people that purchase stores? Yeah, absolutely, Kathy. 800 a year? Devin, you see that? Kathy's over here doing 800 a year. Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's more than enough to sell it, by the way. But if you wanted to, I mean, keep pushing that, do more of what you're doing. Yeah, that would be incredible. Yeah, don't go for Caesar Milan. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. See, Lassie, Daniel's Lassie will follow you into that trap, man. There's tons of people that love Lassie that never owned a dog in their life. Facebook is banning more ad accounts now. I wouldn't worry about it. Stick to the rules. Follow TOS. I've been doing this for like 8 or 9 years, and it feels like it's like 30 in terms of advertising. Every year is the year that they're banning more accounts. And, as long as the people who are sticking to to what they want, you should be good. Now, you might get those automatic bans, but you can fight those. That's the one thing I would say. If you didn't do anything wrong, you can get your ad account back, and you just kind of fight them. And then there's what I call the AI bot wall. You got to break through the AI bot wall, and then you will be fine. Okay. When do you kill ads when testing? We got whole trainings and stuff like that. But when testing, in the short answer, and then I got about 5 more minutes, guys. When you kill an ad, pre-revenue, right? If you haven't made a sale, if you're not getting real cheap link clicks, if you're not getting add to carts that make sense, then you kill it by the price of the product, right? If I'm selling a $25 product, I will take a look at my ad and kill it by $25. If I think that the link clicks are doing well, I will kill it in the next 25. I will let it run for the next $25 and kill it if I don't get a sale. But then obviously once you start getting sales, that you're not profitable, then you got to let it go. Yeah, Devin, hit Kathy up and let's Shame. I would love to hear the story. It's great to hear you, one of you guys hitting. I mean, that's crazy numbers.
I'll send you an email. Okay, so be on the lookout for it tomorrow.
Okay, guys. Okay, here's a last question. Down the road, yeah, it's a lot of work, but you know what, Kathy? It's your work, right? That's one of the key the differences. I had so much work in the corporate world. 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the evening, but it was somebody else's work. Well, you need what? You know what? We can jam and talk about it, but you need to probably get somebody to, take the load off and get some team members in there. Like I said, I had 20 people on my team on that store. I still did a lot of work, but trust me, I didn't do the work of 21 people. So that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. Give me a 1 again if you're still with me. If that was a good call. If you understand this methodology, if this is going to help you, I want you to implement it right away. And I want to hear from you guys. Post in our SCUP group and tell us if it's getting you some success and you see it. So awesome. Cool. All right, man. Devin, I don't know if I'm the ender of this or what.
I got it. Thanks, guys. I will also be sending everybody out the replay, and I'm going to just take a look at the quality. It's tough because I want to send out, like, if the quality is bad on this, I want to send out a higher quality version, but then you're going to miss out on a lot of the details we covered tonight, the little tidbits that you don't get with the pre-recorded thing. You can only get with something live like this. So I'm going to see what's best. I really don't lose it on that content, but if people really can't.
I know my suggestion would be, guys, is what we did today really doesn't Like, if you listen to me and you pop open what I pop open as I'm, if I'm in the Audience Insights tool or if I'm in the Ads Manager, you will be fine. And just listen to my voice and do it over the shoulder and you'll be good. All this shit I just said, I'm not going to be able to repeat verbatim. So I really want you to, hey, Brutus, I really want you to, don't worry about that. Madu, I do Google and Amazon are my two big sources at the moment. And then Pinterest is on its way. Oh, man, you're all shaved up.
Yeah. Actually, funnily enough, I muted myself while you were talking. I brought since I'm on a laptop, since my computer wasn't working, still frustrated about that, guys. That being said, I shaved in the middle of the call.
Nice. Time efficiency, right?
Yeah. Well, you took it over and I had to find a way to get rid of my frustrations. So I was like, I'm going to take a razor to myself in a nice way and shave my face. So that's it. Anyways, guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Take it easy. I'll send this out ASAP and keep an eye open for an email from us this Saturday. Matt and I are working on a new content format. It is going to be outstanding. And we're going to have some really cool content coming to you every single weekend from here on out. So guys, thank you for your time. I say bye. Brutus says bye. Matt says bye. My cat, Carl, says bye. My other dog, Freddie, says bye. The whole family says bye. Matt, thank you again for joining us.
Yep, no problem, guys. Hope you implement this and have a good rest of your week.
All right, everybody, enjoy yourself. Hey, Eric, funnily enough, about the Grant Cardone thing, one of his copywriters is a good friend of mine, and he was working with me all day today at a coffee shop. So this isn't really an interesting story, but he was writing the emails for trying to get everybody to watch that tonight. And I actually helped him write some of the emails, so it was kind of fun.
Nice. All right, dude, I'm going to hop off. Take care, guys.
See you guys.
Yep.